Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics. And today, excited to have a good friend of mine, Will McBride, who runs MarketChameleon, which has been growing a special place in my heart these days as I've been doing more option trading. And Will, option trade, former and current option trader, but was back on the New York Stock Exchange, or was it back in the Amex
The
back in
Amex, the Amex, where we cross paths, or even in your early years with Susquehanna. I don't know if you did any training on the Philex. I was down there about the time you probably got into the business. I'm an old man relative to Chris, if you can't tell. He's got real hair on his head, unlike mine, which I don't have any real hair on my head. But Chris has been someone who I've talked to for the last couple of years, and we share a lot of the same background and interests. And I appreciate you having me on today, Chris, to talk a little bit about MarketChameleon.
Yeah, well, it's a great site, especially as a former option trader where it was nice working for Susquehanna. You have all the equipment. You can easily look up anything you need. And with the options market, not always the easiest to find. And over the past couple of years after I had left, was not always easy way to check the things I like to check. So it's been great using MarketChameleon. And perhaps if you could tell people a little bit about this site, and then we can dig into some actual trading and market ideas. But for folks who have not used it, you could tell them even more about what I've seen so far.
All right, well, I'll jump over. I'll share the screen. A little background is my partner, Dimitri, and I got into the business. Like I said, we're quite a bit older than you, back in the early 90s. And we started on the floor of the Philadelphia Stock Exchange with a firm called Timber Hill. I don't know if you remember Timber Hill, but they morphed into Interactive Brokers. And so we both worked for Timber Hill for 3 years on the Philex. I worked back and forth a little bit on the Amex when the Dell was a big product for Timber Hill. And then we went out on our own with a couple of independent traders. And that's where we really got, put our own money at risk. Well, it was their money, but once it was in your account, it was your money. And we worked for them for 3 or 4 years. And then we went on our own. And then as things shifted in the 2000s, it moved from the floor-based model where everything was streamed quotes, and you better have started to dive into producing your own algorithms and your ability to trade in the electronic framework of the space. So we've done that up until today. We're no longer market makers. We're strictly position traders with our algorithms running all the time. But on the side project, we've built the MarketChameleon to give a lot of the data and a lot of the resources to the marketplace that we've used. And we also sell a lot of premium products on top of that based on things we've used to make, decisions over the years for ourselves. And so that's the basis of the site from that background. And I'm happy you like it. It is something that is near and dear to our heart, and something I use every day. When I first get onto the site, the first thing I look at is the market feed, see if there's any activity that really interests me. Unusual, a lot of times unusual option volume will cause me to dig further. Just different things that are going on in the marketplace. When you asked me to join you today, the one thing I was interested in talking to you about and see things you look at were the gold and silver markets. And one of the features on the site, that's a feature, I don't know if you've dug into it all, but if you go to screeners, and the way the site sets up is everything in the features is available to anyone who comes to the site. And then there are other products available on the premium side. If you ever wanted to chat with one of the founders and get a demo, you could always click on the bottom here and chat with us. Okay. And if the chat's available, or you can email us at the contact, and we'd gladly walk anyone through the product with a private demo. And that's a pretty nice thing, because most likely it'd be my partner Dimitri, who is a very, very smart trader, and he would walk you through the things he uses it for as well. But anyways, we're back to the stock screeners. On the stock screener, it screens, the 8,000 plus stocks in the marketplace for price, change, volume, average volume, relative volume, market cap, so on and so forth. And then beyond that, you can click on price performance for all the stocks. It gives you the last 7 days, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 years, so on and so forth. It gives you technical indicators. It gives you, which I think is a great feature, is the options, some option snapshots.
Yep.
One thing I like to look here is what the skew's doing. If the skew's bearish, slightly bearish,
Oh, I had not seen that little feature yet.
That's why I'm kind of going through this, because I just want to show you what I dig through. And then some other things, moving averages you can look at. And everything can be searched by column head. But I was just going to go into, and I preset right here gold and silver.
Mm-hmm.
I also did copper and natural resources. But you can go in and search any industry, and so you can start to break it down. But if you looked at my preset saved, the gold, I was just thinking about the gold, and I was thinking what Chris would maybe look for. And one thing that interested me when I was looking at it today was the dividend yield.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how safe are these yields, do you think, on the gold stocks?
Well, for some of them, it's interesting to think about, just because a lot of these guys are struggling a little bit. Some doing well, but would think not a guarantee.
Yeah, the dividend could be something that's cut. So when I'm looking at the dividends, the next thing I like to look at, my own, is I like to screen for the buy right and just see where the buy right's trading. So if you go to options, and again, this is available to everyone, you can look at both the put protection and do a buy right search. So we just give, and unfortunately, I don't know how far down the screen goes. You probably can't see the bottom, actually. Let me see if I can click this off. That's good. All right. If you type in the view symbol, we can look at any symbol.
But we look at First Majestic Silver, which is AG.
AG.
Yeah.
So AG. So if you look at AG's buy right now, these are looking at the money strike. But, a month out, so actually this isn't a month. What's this? 2 weeks, a week? It's a week out. You can yield 2% on that buy right. You go out a year to Jan 2020, you can yield 20% on the buy right. So it's just something I like to look at. I mean, we were looking at Newmont Mining, which was, I think it was I don't want to misquote. It was a 1 3/4% yield. I was actually, you go out here a year, you can yield almost another 11%. For, a month, it's like 4.5%. It seems like a nice thing to own, and then collect the yield and collect the buy right. Oh, that was AG I was looking at. I'm sorry. The Newmont is like 2.5% out to February 15th. But that's one thing I like to look at, is the buy right feature, and that is available to everyone. Do you use the option chain at all?
Yeah, that's primarily the first place I go. Obviously, it's great to be able to see the markets there. In fact, one thing I was wondering, although maybe I'll hold off on that until you go through this one first, because I think this would be great for people to see.
The option chain?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I like using there are a bunch of great features in the options chain, but one of the real nice ones is the theoretical value. So we actually give you the same theos we used in price in the marketplace. And so if you have a red or a green indicator in between here, it's either, well, like here, right? It's the theo right now is on the bid. So right. It's just something to think about. If you were thinking about, if it's red, you're maybe thinking about selling the option, green buying. As I'm clicking through here, there isn't. Well, here there. We're looking at these vols being a little high out in March. So it's something that on most options chains, and it's hard to find. These vols look a little elevated.
Are those vols for active markets? I guess you're not making markets. But where are those theos coming from? Is that from a model that you have?
Yeah, that's our model. I mean, and it's a blend of, we use obviously the Black Scholes, but we've
right.
also put a lot of our own research into it. So it's a very strong theoretical value. Doesn't mean it's always going to be right, but it's a starting point for everyone to.
And you can have the indicators sent via email alerts, or the option filter, I guess is what it was called, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you can get. You can get in the stock screener I showed you in the options.
Mm-hmm.
These volatility skew indicators. There, we also send a report that you can sign up for where it gets. And I'll show you the screen right here. It's if you go to options, this order flow sentiment. Mm-hmm. So you can register for this, and this will email you on stocks you've decided to follow. If you've got increase in bullish option activity, bearish, a change from bearish to bullish, a change from bullish to bearish, that type of thing. But this is also another piece. It's hard to say we created it, but we've been using it for years for ourselves, and now we've made it a nice little screener for people to, dig in and see if there are any ideas that fit in their trade-in concepts. So.
Right. I like it.
The other item I was going to show is the naked put screener. Now, this is the premium feature, but this you can screen gold. Let's see if anything in my gas is showing up. But this will screen for the next 60 days any puts that are showing up as good. Well, I've got that as, let's do any. So this is my gas watch list, the next 60 days. These are all available puts that are showing up that have, different indicators involved with them. But I like to look at is the downside cushion. So if you were to put on this trade, this would be the amount the stock would have to go against you on this naked put, the win rate. So this analyzes. Wow. Well, this is the number of observations. If you look at it, it's 198 previous trades it looked at.
Okay.
Well, that win rate was 9. That it's been a 94% winner. The premium, the naked put average return, the stock. If you did just the stock, that would be the win rate. So it just gives you a lot of back-tested data.
Right.
And I'm only search. You can search. Let's just refresh. You can search the entire marketplace here for naked puts. There are 14,000 entries of potential naked puts, and you can start to, change your inputs and get better results based on different observations and different back tests. You can, cut your back test down depending on, if you want a shorter period to look at. You can look at the win rate if you wanted to go above 70%. So that in the marketplace right now, with the stock percent win rate greater than the strategy percent win rate, that's what's available to you.
Right.
So there are all these back testing options that we've created for people that, are at their fingertips, really.
Yeah, and just a comment for all the folks watching at home. Obviously, I know when we're going through a lot of different screens like this and you're seeing different options, sometimes it can appear overwhelming, but as I'm seeing this, keep in mind that anytime you just go in and play around with something, you don't have to go through every screen all at once, but I really like what you have there, Will, because it's like you have a way that you can put some numbers on things rather than just eyeballing. And again, it's great. I'm excited to look through where you have the win rates and probabilities broken down, which again can be a guide. So would encourage people to just go in, play around with it. Don't feel like you have to get every feature at once, but if there's one particular thing that you found interesting and there's a trade you're thinking about, great way to apply and get started by doing it like that. So
No, that's a great point, Chris. And the site provide. I mean, a lot of what I was showing you was I jumped right into the premium stuff. I apologize about that. But playing or using the site like you would have used Yahoo Finance at one time, I mean, is how to use this site. Is come on, use it every day. Use it even if you're only just watching your stocks, because we have so much more, so many more resources for just stock traders at their fingertips. And I would recommend, again, everyone try to get a demo of the premium stuff. It doesn't mean you have to do anything with it, but it will show you what the premium stuff can do and how you may apply it to your trading ideas. It's MarketChameleon.com. Contact us at support@MarketChameleon.com. And, you can email me. My email is WilliamMcBride@gmail if you want a personal email to me. And obviously you can touch base with Chris. He'll direct you to us too. But anything we can do to help make your trading lives easier, we're here for you.
Well, right on, Will. Appreciate you coming on the show today. Great to catch up with you, and we will look forward to do some trades soon.
Hey, thanks, Chris.
All right, my friend. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.